What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mr. Straight Facts Show. I'm Mr. Straight Facts, and let's get into it today. There's a lot going on, especially with the Epstein files today, or as I may say, the survivors of the Epstein files. Not the individuals, but the story should be more about them than actually Epstein. Um, so, with that, I'm going to try and start off these shows just putting them in the mix, and they're commercial. I think we should air that as much as possible, just so that they are put at the forefront when we start these. Okay.
After years of being kept apart, we're standing together.
Standing together.
Because this girl deserves the truth.
Because she deserves the truth.
Because we all deserve the truth.
Hey, what's up? You know what I want to hear? Awesome. They deserve the truth, all of them, even though there's a few that we get to see. There are literally over 1,000, 1,200 they say, but I'm sure there's more because the ones in which they've counted that we've heard about have only been the women. Little did we know there are boys too. So only like one that we know of came up and said something that I know of. I can't say what we know of. But in Hollywood and other areas, we've had artists, Corey Feldman, who have come forward many, many, many years ago and nobody believed him. There are many more, trust and believe. And one thing that we talked about, this is not a new industry. It's not like not Howard London, but Jeffrey Epstein just came up with this out of thin air. It's been going on. He is just somebody who got into the game. Just like a drug lord gets into the game, there's a new one every so often, or there's a new kingpin every so often. It's not a new industry. It's just somebody steps into the game and figures out something a little bit more different or better in their world, and that person takes off. And we know that Jeffrey Epstein didn't have an education worth a damn. So how did he get all the way up here? More than likely, he was a part of this thing, if not a victim early on in his life, or a part of it from the very beginning. But you got to understand, they had Bill Barr's father hire him as a youngster without an education, teaching students at the Dalton High School, which is an elite school. I'll keep saying this because some people just have never heard it. And so Bill Barr connected this is through his father, the Barr family, the men at least. And it's odd how all these things connect. He gets with some guy at Bears and Stearns, and then from there he goes to Leslie Wexner, and turns out today. We talked about this yesterday. I'm going to bring it up here next, but it's just wow how these people connect. And Donald Trump has all these connections to Jeffrey Epstein in his White House. These are not coincidences. I'm sorry, but you can't be best buddies. This is your homie. The pedophile says Donald Trump's been my best friend for over 15 years. Over 15 years. He said that many years ago. Right? Many years before they caught him. He had been his friend for 15 years. So they've probably been friends since 80s, late 70s, 80s, or whatever it may have been. So Donald Trump, I don't know this dude. I really don't know him that well. It's sick. Like I said yesterday, cognitive dissonance. People act like they've been attached to it, to this world. I was going to say cult, but to this world that they They can't detach because it's attached to their spirit, their soul. It's not about facts or fiction. It's about what they're attached to. That's how their belief system works. And you got Howard Lutnick today, but we're going to take it back before today, because Howard Lutnick, another person in the loop that is close to Jeffrey Epstein, but acts like it's just 7 steps away. We saw him one time and he was just so gross that me and my wife were like, no way are we ever going to see this dude again. Yeah. But let's look at that. That's one thing today. And if you're a part of this group, you know one thing we can't stand is liars. I mean, you may not be culpable to go to jail for doing something to children, but you can't tell me you didn't know this shit was going on, being this close to the pedophile. We're going to go over it. We're going to go over it because I don't want to like spoil the whole thing. But here's the next process that we're going to go through. We're going to see Lutnick say what he said before. This kind of mixtape of him saying what he said about his connections with Jeffrey Epstein.
Did they see it and ignore it, or
No, they participated.
right?
That's what his MO was, get a massage. And what happened in that massage room, I assume was on video. This guy was the greatest blackmailer ever. I assume way back when they traded those videos in exchange for him getting that 18-month sentence. I say to him, massage table in the middle of your house?
Wow,
How often do you have a massage? And he says, every day. And then he gets weirdly close to me.
Ooh.
And he says, and the right kind of massage.
Did they see
You
it?
know what's so weird about that dude? It's already he's weird, but he does that story like Donald Trump does that snake story. You know what I'm saying? His story is kind of like dramatic. He's trying to give you a story, like he's giving you like the cliff notes to this movie he saw. And he walks up close to me. He gets really close. He's designing the story too much. Nobody designs the story too much. You know what I'm saying? If you say, yo, man, that dude's weird. You know what I'm saying? I went over to his house and he had a massage table in this movie. That's crazy as hell. And then he leans up to me like he was going to kiss me or some shit. I'm like, dude, step away. Your breath stink. So that right there would be more of a real story. This dude is, and he comes up close to me, you see, close to me. And he says what he says. Now, here's the question. Why is he getting up close to you if he's not trying to whisper so that your wife doesn't hear it? But your wife hears it. And then you and your wife have a conversation. So he whispered to you to get up close to you. What was the creepy part? He made it sound like the creepy part was coming up close. And he says it all soft. And he says, the right kind. No, sir. I don't believe it. That's not believable to me. That just doesn't, I mean, I understand that Jeffrey Epstein's creepy. Hell yeah, the dude's creepy as fuck. But you know that from the moment you walk in the door to this dude. It wasn't like he just appeared creepy after he opens the door. Oh, we just walked in, took a tour. No, when he opened the door, he's like, hey, how you doing? And you know he was crazy then. But you walked in, and he was normal until he opens up the door and tell you the massage table, and he gets the right kind of massage, and you leave. And you're creeped out by him having, happy endings. Oh, he's creepy for happy endings. I know Howard Lutnick has been to some bathhouses. I know that he's hung out with rich dudes and them having, damn near nude models on golf course. On a golf course. I know these things have happened. I have been around celebrities that aren't as rich as they are. And that's their little thing. You know what I'm saying? They have models at every hole in bikinis and shit. Drinks and all. You can't tell me he never took part in something like that. He thinks getting a massage with a happy ending is creepy. No, ladies and gentlemen, that's not a thing. That's not a thing. So I knew he was lying at that point. But then we didn't know all the other details till we got into the documents. And here's the crazy part, because he did that interview in 2025 when he thought, just like everybody else in the Republican thought, they were never going to release these files. They just weren't going to do it. They was going to prolong it, so he could control the narrative. There were no files to be released. They was holding them back. Bills weren't passed. The law wasn't necessarily passed, whatever it was. It was like November or whatever it was in 2025. Everything started to snowball. The bills pass. The law passes. They got 30 days. They come out. Now Howard Lutnick is stuck on this, for lack of a better term, island. And he's trying to back his way out of it. Right? But they ask him today in a meeting. They ask him today in the hearing, rather, about this new company of his. Like, if you haven't heard, I'm pretty sure you have. It's later in the day of what happened, and this is what he said.
Did you in fact make the visit to Jeffrey Epstein's private island?
I did have lunch with him as I was on a boat going across on a family vacation. We had lunch on the island. That is true, for an hour, and we left with all of my children.
Wait. He said he had lunch with him on a boat. And then the island. So was it on the boat or was it on the island that you had the luncheon with? I'm confused. Let's hear it again.
It's on a boat going across on a family vacation. I did have lunch with him as I was on a boat going across on a family vacation. We had lunch on the island. That is true, for an hour, and we left with all of my children, with my nannies and my wife, all together. We were on family vacation. We were not apart. To suggest there was anything untoward about that in 2012, I don't recall why we did it.
Okay, so you don't recall. Here's the thing. Another thing that I just can't stand with people. Like I said, I can't stand liars, because I can understand you doing business and stuff like that, but not after 2006. But regardless, you remember the details. You remember the details of everything, but why the fuck you stopped with your family to go to this island? Every detail. You remember that you brought nannies. You remember your children came. You remember it was you and your wife. You remember you was on a boat. You remember you stopped at the island. You remember you stayed for an hour. Later, you realize that you done looked these dates up for yourself to kind of cover yourself at this meeting, because now you don't see in the file say you was there May 5th or something like that. And you say you was there an hour, because in the emails, it literally says that you guys are going to have a meeting for like an hour or something like that on this date. It sounds like to me, either you don't remember this situation and you made a story to backtrack it, and through your input said child said this person said that, or you looked at this and said, oh shit, I was there. And you remembered it all, and you made up a complete different story. That this is what it is. Now, I can't say what you did, but you can't remember why you was on the island. I don't believe that. It wasn't a business meeting. It wasn't about it. You know why he can't remember? Because if you go back and look at the document in which it says he was there on May 5th, 2011, 2000, something like that, when it says he was there, or 12, whatever it is, when it says he was there, supposed to be there, when it was setting it up in April and they finally decided to do it in May. The reason why? Because in the email, it doesn't say what their meeting's for. That's why you don't remember what it's for. Because he's making this story. And I ain't saying it's completely up. He realizes that there's also an email saying that his nanny was there at this island, and that Jeffrey Epstein wanted to get with the nanny somehow. I don't know for what. He just had an affinity to see this nanny again. So there was an email sent to someone in between them. I don't know how that became a situation, but they believe they don't believe. He says Lutnick's nanny. How old was Lutnick's nanny? They didn't ask that question. Was it a young teenager that was taking care of his babies? Why were they on the island? He had nannies. How old were they? They didn't ask that. They assumed that these nannies were adults. We don't know that. We don't know how old his kids were at the time. But, again, that information is not told. But this man, in 2000, I believe, 11 or 12, whatever it is, has his wife, all of his children, his nannies, himself, on an island with a man that served time having children as prostitutes. Pedophile, rapist, you bring your children to their home. Here's the thing I want people to understand about this. I mean, we don't really look at this shit, you know what I'm saying? It's like, think about it. Think about this as a parent. Step into your parent, shoes, right? If you're not a parent, think about your pet or whatever the hell. Think of something that you love, okay? And somebody attacks the things you love. Your little dog, they attack them, whatever. Your child, they attack those types of things. They are attracted to them sexually or likes to harm them. And you're going to tell me you're going to take your kids not to a public park to meet. You're going to take them on a secluded island with no fucking security. There's no cops to come if this man decides to roofie all y'all and do what he want with y'all. There's no help, nobody to hear you. Nobody to hear you. Help me. Nobody to hear you. You took your entire family to a pedophile island / rapist island / drug them up island, and you took your entire family there without a fucking problem. We're on vacation. Let's go to the pedophile island. And you knew at this point he was creepy by your own description. Creepy. Never gonna see him again. And then a year later, he's in jail for being a pedophile. You know this, living right next to him. And then 5-6 years later, you take your entire family, children and all, to his island. I don't know what you did, and I don't really give a fuck. At this point in time, people have to stop thinking of what's going or who's going to jail for shit. Because, see, that's how they're escaping from all this. I didn't do anything illegal. Well, you morally corrupt. What kind of man takes his woman and his babies and let them hang out with a pedophile? If this man did not touch your child, he was visualizing fucking them right in front of you. And you put your kids in that situation. You did. While he's sitting there, you were sitting here, what kind of business can we make? What kind of money can we make? Was this, that, and the other? Or you was in on it. Either way, corrupt. Devoid of character. Horrible husband, dad. Wife, horrible, because she saw it too. Supposedly she heard it. And y'all both agreed it was creepy, and both y'all took y'all kids around them. Terrible, horrible family, horrible. You put money or whatever this man was offering you over any kind of morality, over the safety of your kids. I don't get it. And nor, I'm trying to find out what kind of business Lutnick into, because I sure as fuck want to get up out of anything that's supporting that man. Because I don't believe he's telling the truth. And if you were just doing business, it's easy to just say, I was doing business and I was, I was focused on the money to take care of my family. I had to push this to the side because this and the other, we was going broke. You can give us a story, the true story of why you did it, why you knew you took your whole family to the island, even though you knew this was a corrupt man. And Donald Trump said in 2006 that everybody who was around Jeffrey Epstein knew what he was doing with the little girls. even though Donald Trump still hung out with him, invited him to Mar-a-Lago, and it turns out they looked through the documents. Some of these representatives, it was a woman, I can't remember her name, looked through them, and she said one of the things that she was looking for to see, when did Donald Trump tell Jeffrey Epstein that he was off the list at Mar-a-Lago? And she said, never happened. It never happened. And it makes sense because Donald Trump still was inviting him in 2011, 2012, even though he was on the phone with one of the police chief at the time in Miami, literally saying everybody knew that Epstein was this way. In 2006, he said that to him. 2019, this police chief was investigated by the FBI, and he told them exactly what Donald Trump said in 2006 to him. He would have to have documentation on it for them to actually note that shit. And Lutnick knew. Can't tell me he didn't. He ran in the same circles. You'll hear how Lutnick, if you listen to some of these other documents, coming out of Lutnick's mouth when he met, in that same interview, when he met Donald Trump and how they became cool. This is back in the day. So he was running in circles with Donald Trump a long time ago. So if Donald Trump knew a long time ago and he said everybody knew, so did Lutnick. See, 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2 to these fools. They think we stupid. You listen to Donald Trump, it negates what Howard Lutnick's saying. You listen to Howard Lutnick just a few days ago, and today he negates everything he said. There are 3 million files that have not been released. I guarantee you there's more of Lutnick and Donald Trump in that bitch. It's crazy. So there's more of a Howard Lutnick. You'll see mashup of him saying the things he said, but let's listen to that.
He was convicted of soliciting prostitution of a minor, and yet you went and had this trip and other interactions.
I looked through the millions of documents for my name, just like everybody else.
See, checked on it.
What I found was there was a document that says that I had a meeting with him on in May, I think.
See how nervous he is. See how cocky he is when he's talking about, with Donald Trump shit. Yeah, we're doing great, and tariffs are not taxes, and blah 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 blah. He's cocky with an attitude. Right here, this man is scared shitless. His voice, like he's singing vibrato or some shit. I had the fuck is that? Huh? Because this man know he's guilty of something, but nobody can prove it. But I know that people who are in his circle that have businesses that people buy from need to stay clear of him. Because Americans, I'm telling you, we need to get on our not necessarily high horse, but get on what our North Star is. Americans, regardless of what party you're in, we all should be protectors of children. Because one of the things I think we lose is that we start to think of these women as women because they're women now. We need to stop thinking of them as women. Even though they're women, their assault didn't happen when they were women. These babies, now that are grown-ass women, are the ones we're talking about. And we need to protect the baby them. The adult them, we need to give them justice. We need to protect the babies. You got to understand something. This didn't end. Jeffrey Epstein didn't start this. And when Jeffrey Epstein died, it did not end. There are still children right now being snatched up, this very second, to do the exact same shit that Jeffrey Epstein is doing. Jeffrey Epstein did not invent this fucking wheel. He jumped in and created his own brand of wheels. He created his own thing, like Firestone, whatever the fuck brand you like, Goodyear. He created his own brand. And there are many of them out there just like this. And many of them in this ring with him have joined with some other group because there's too much money in it for them to stop. And seeing as how they're not being held responsible for this one, their names are mostly redacted. For this one, you think they stopped? What do you have? What reason do you have to stop when you believe you're above the law? So Americans have to, no matter what party you belong to, you're going to have to get on this bandwagon of a North Star. The North Star is to protect children at all costs. It doesn't have to be your child. Any child should be protected. Any woman or girl should be protected. We need to get out of this idea of what party. That's how they keep us divided. But I wouldn't want a Republican, independent, non-voter child harmed. So we need to get on that North Star and stop fucking talking about, when we get to this Epstein shit, talking about parties. Fuck all that. Everybody who is involved, regardless of party, regardless of power, need to be taken down. And if you can't or have no evidence, you need to start saying morally these people are corrupt. Being even close in proximity to this, you had to see it happening. Then you two are culpable for the things continuing, because I don't see any one of y'all being whistleblowers. Y'all sat and allowed it to happen. Morally bankrupt. If that's the case, and you're in these documents and you're talking about Brazilian 9-year-olds, you are done for, as far as American citizens should believe. Other countries too, but I'm talking about America. It needs to be just that, plain and simple. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate the $20. Thank you very much. We need to get on that plane and stop dividing over this other shit. We can talk about it. I can't wait till we get back to the idea of, I agree on my moral idea of what policy we need to help for the people, and the Republican Party believes what it believes, and we can agree to disagree and come up with stuff. That's one thing. But there is no difference, I believe, in the moral fact that children need to be protected. We can agree on that, right? Then let's move on that. Let's move forward on that together. Something we can find together that we can get Republicans, independents, whomever's out there fucking with kids. Kings, presidents, vice presidents. And I ain't saying we have vice president. I'm just saying power structure be damned. There is no way we should be saying, oh, because this person is a president, it's okay that he did this or she did that. No, we should be like, oh, that happened? Or even an allegation should put you in a position that you can't really run for these particular offices anymore. Why are we giving somebody power that it's a 50-50 chance that you're a pedophile? It just shouldn't be. At that, you need to clear that shit up before you even try to run. America and Americans, we have to come together at least on that topic. At least on that. And we can work from that. Having a moral fiber that we all agree upon. Protecting children should be an easy one. I would hope.
For an hour at 5 o'clock.
At that time, I think you mentioned that you're accompanied by your wife and kids and nannies. My question is, do you know whether the nanny that you had on that trip was the same nanny that Jeffrey Epstein expressed interest in meeting?
No, I have no idea about that whole thing. I mean, I don't recall it having anything to do with me, and I don't know that.
It's just, this guy was a convicted sex offender, and obviously not a great place for kids and nannies.
100%. Love that guy. It's exactly what I said. Why are you bringing your kids there? Why are you bringing your kids there? And do we really want this man to be Secretary of Commerce or whatever his position is, in a high position when he is morally and ethically bankrupt? Can we trust him to do the work of the people when he wasn't even protecting children? In fact, he delivered his own kids to Pedophile Island. He had no idea if he would have been roofied and knocked out and his kids, sold or molested. He had no idea if it could happen or not. But he had an inkling that it could. I mean, antennas had to go up. I don't care. I'm telling you, I don't know how much. And it's not like I'm like some high, my morals are just better than any human being. I don't believe that shit. I believe every person loves their children, unless they're like evil bastards, loves their children, that you would protect them from harm. You would dive in front of a bullet for them if you saw it happening and you could get to it. Try to save both of you. You don't want to die, but you try to save them. And if you happen to get shot or somebody happen to get shot, you're going to pray it's you. Right? That's just something that we all, I think, have, or at least the good people do. And so would we ever deliver our kids to the possibility of harm? I wouldn't take my kids on a ride that killed a kid last week. We ain't going to that amusement park. We ain't getting on that ride if we know last week or just 3 hours ago that ride killed a baby. Nope, not getting on it. And you know a man spent time in jail for raping children and got a sweetheart deal because he did a lot and ended up not getting charged for that, got charged for prostitution with an underage child. As if that's the thing. I don't even understand that myself. It sounds like an oxymoron. The girl was a prostitute? From whom? I don't know. But that's the part what I'm saying is there's no way you would take your kid to even a bad neighborhood and have them out hanging out on the street in the middle of a bad neighborhood at night. You wouldn't do it. So why would you take your kids and deliver them on an island where a pedophile does his dirt? Just saying. You had to know something. Donald Trump said he knew back in 2006, and he said everybody around him knew, and you were hanging around them. Just saying. All right. You remember yesterday we had Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna, and I went off on, like I said, I got love for these two because they really are fighting for these women, the survivors, and to get it out. And it doesn't seem like they have a bias. They just want to get it done. And I'm sure they're looking for, accolades to some degree, whatever it may be. A lot of humans do, but they're doing the right thing and they deserve it. They deserve whatever accolades they got because they have fought more than anybody for these women as far as like in as a lawmaker, right? Even though you guys should have put some kind of penalty in this bitch before so that when they decided not to do the right thing, then you should go to jail for that or something. Somebody should go to jail. Somebody should get sued. You should have threw some kind of punishment in there, but you didn't. But I give it to you. You did something, right? So this right here, dealing with Ro Khanna yesterday, I legitimately said they should have released the names.
The user interface is a little clunky at first, but what I saw that bothered me were the names of at least 6 men that have been redacted that are likely incriminated by their inclusion in these files.
There's still a lot that's redacted. Even in what we're seeing redacted versions. I thought we were supposed to see the unredacted versions, and that's because the documents produced to justice from the FBI, from the grand jury, was redacted when they got it.
So, like I said, I went off and I said, hey, I love you, Ro Khanna, but the law said those names are unredacted. Should be. Only names that should not be redacted, should be redacted rather, are the actual, the people who are victims, right? So those are only names, victims or possible victims, but not the rich billionaires and millionaires who were writing these emails, right? And what they do, they release pictures. Boy, if you saw a picture I saw today, boy, you would want to just walk up and sock the fuck out of one of them. I ain't gonna lie. The description, it's covered up, but you see a child on some stairs, you go see that. It makes you want to punch the fuck out of somebody. I'm not even gonna lie to you, because you know no child should be doing what that child is doing. I was gonna get it, but I was like, I don't even want to put it out there. Just go look at the documents, the images, and you'll see this child. Not her face, none of that. Just the insinuation of what she's doing. These people, there was, I don't agree with his tactic or what he said, but there was a Republican that came out today and said Ghislaine Maxwell should be taken out basically and sniped, basically shot in the back of the head. If she get released, she needs to be shot back in the head. He said 5 times or some shit like that. I was like, damn, they don't went there. But again, some people get extreme. I think she need to be in jail for the rest of her life. No bail and all that, and send her back to the horrible prison, not to this little Club Fed shit. But yeah, so it gave me an understanding that a lot of us, even Republicans who I'm not necessarily agreeing with on any of their politics, are angry at this, are pissed at this. And that's something we can agree on. So we can agree to disagree on the other things, but we can full-heartedly agree on this. Now, the punishment, we can agree to disagree on how that worked, but I do believe, and I understand his anger, because after you see these pictures, and I'm sure he saw way more than me. Oh, I can see murder was the case that they gave me. I can see that. And it ain't even my kid. If it was my kid, oh man. Ooh, I ain't even gonna go there. I would be the most notorious killer in America if that was the case. Because if it was mine, I'm hyper protective. Oh, beyond. It's sickening. But I don't see how the people watch somebody do that and that's their kid. And they haven't unalived these people yet. I don't see it. I just don't. I don't care how powerful you are. That's just my point of view. But let me get off of that because it doesn't deserve to be talked about that long. But today, Ro Khanna did exactly that. You don't know how much love I have for this man when I saw him give out the names. I mean, ask and you shall receive.
Congressman Massey and I went to the Department of Justice to read the unredacted Epstein files. We spent about 2 hours there, and we learned that 70 to 80% of the files are still redacted. In fact, there were 6 wealthy, powerful men that the DOJ hid for no apparent reason. When Congressman Massey and I pointed this out to the Department of Justice, they acknowledged their mistake. And now they have revealed the identity of these 6 powerful men. These men are Salvatore Navora, Zorab Mikoladze, Leopig Leonor, Nicola Caputa, Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, CEO of Dubai Ports World, and billionaire businessman Leslie Wexner, who was labeled as a co-conspirator by the FBI. Now, my question is, why did it take Thomas Massey and me going to the Justice Department to get these 6 men's identities to become public? And if we found 6 men that they were hiding in 2 hours, imagine how many men they are covering up for in those 3 million files.
Facts. I mean, how many are there? I mean, again, he said in 3 million he found 6, but I'm sorry, sir. No disrespect. I love it. Y'all got that 6, but who was behind the one that said not Bohemian? The 9-year-old girl, Brazilian, and the 9-year-old girl. Whose name is that? That email is that. The one about the 10-year-old. Whose name is on that email? Because it's redacted. Whose names are those? I mean, come on. I understand these, right? I understand these. I've looked at them, but it's 6. I know at least there's 4 more on my mind that has to be, right? All of Trump's names should be gone. He's not a victim. His name should be unredacted in everything. And he's already, I don't know how he did this. Now, this is one of the senators. He came out with an allegation today. I haven't been able to prove it, so I'm not going to call it 100% factual. But he said he put in Donald Trump's name plus like Donald Trump, Donald, and I guess it's their system because it's sure as hell not the system we got online. Donald Trump, just Donald and Trump or something like that. He mentioned those names or whatever, and it came up in these documents plus 1 million times. Now, I couldn't find it because obviously I don't have that access. And plus, I think he's looking at it unredacted. So he's getting all of the names, which would mean there's a shit ton of his name that's redacted. You feel me? Because when you do it, you go on there and look up Trump by itself. Look up Donald Trump, right? Look up just Don. And then you'll end up seeing Don or whatever, and then Trump next to it or whatever. Look up these names and go through some of the documents and start to realize who they're talking about. And each one of those, brought up thousands of names. And what they say yesterday was 30,000 that have Donald Trump's name in the 3 million or whatever. But I'm guessing that's with the things being redacted. Now, ask yourself a question. Why in the hell is Donald Trump's name redacted and not redacted? When you type it up, it's 4,000 something, whatever. Then another one, just Don by himself or whatever. They're talking about him or whatever. That's one. We don't know his email. At least I don't know his email in here. I haven't looked it up. I didn't go through that, but it comes up like 30,000 because it's 4,000 here, 5,000 here, 6,000 there, whatever, right? He's talking about 1 million, then Donald Trump's name is redacted in a lot of these files. Why? They've already said that his name is already all over the place where we see it. And I thought he didn't send emails. They said he stopped doing emails, but maybe he used to send them and he stopped because Jeffrey Epstein got caught in 2006. I'm not sure. I just heard that today. I think Raskin said that 1 million. I haven't validated it. Just wanted to put it out there. You can go listen to Raskin speak about it. I take that with a grain of salt. Not that I don't trust him, but I don't believe anybody until they can actually give it to me and tell me I can go look it up myself and find it. And seeing as how he looked at the unredacted and found that, I can't validate it. But I just let you know that I didn't make it up. He said it. We're going to put it where it belongs. All right? These names, just so you remember, let's see if I can get them put up here real quick. You'll see Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, I guess. And you can see that he was a Dubai businessman. He leads something called DP World. I don't know if you can see it on here. I don't know how small it is to you guys or not. But you'll see that Nicola Caputo, you can see him. He was an Italian politician from 2014 to 2019. Salvatore Nuara, don't know who he is. They haven't found information on him. They believe he's a millionaire, I guess, or billionaire. He's wealthy. Zurab Mikaladze. I don't know if I got that right. And I don't care if I got it right. Fuck you. I don't like the dude already. I think my man Rokana mispronounced his name. I think he said Leopic. It's Leonov, whatever. You guys know how to speak the language probably better than me. And those are the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's the other one? Oh, Leslie or Les Wexner. We all know him. Now, this guy's 88 years old. We have got to, this man may die soon. Okay? No disrespect, 88. He knows the skeletons. He knows where the bodies are buried. This is the man who gave him the money that allowed this man to become as rich as he is. Without Les or Leslie, there is no Jeffrey Epstein being a billionaire or millionaire or having the money or access or the island or the $77 million home that he caught everybody in with cameras. You can't tell me you gave this man access to all your property, all your money, and you don't know nothing about what the fuck he was doing. That's not a thing, y'all. That's just not a thing. And I'm like, what grown man gives up access to your finances and your shit when you built it all, and this little prick just comes out of nowhere? And they said, what did Epstein say? Not Epstein, but Lutnick say about him? He catches you and shit, and he bribes you. That's what Epstein says. So in order to give up your money, your property, tell me one of y'all, if I start talking to y'all, y'all say, I like Mr. Straight Facts, and one of y'all out there rich, are you going to give me access to $77 million home that I'm going to now live in? And where you living at now? If I'm living in your $77 million home and I got control of your finances, what grown man gives enough? I don't care if we lovers. I ain't giving you $77 million. That's just the home. But access to my finances? Jack, that ain't happening. People don't do that for their loved ones, their wives. Many people won't even do that for their children. Yet this man is a stranger to you. You just met this man. And you don't gave him up access to all your shit, your finances, your homes. No, that should have been investigated. Just like Michael Wolff said, follow the money. And the money all roads lead to Les Wexner. And how Jeffrey Epstein found him as a mark. Because prior to that, he was at Bears and Stearns. That guy is another one. And prior to that, was Bill Barr's father. 3 men need to be investigated. His father's probably dead because Bill Barr's 150. His dad's got to be 1,000. You know what I'm saying? I done threw some years on him, but come on now. Look at Bill Barr. If his dad looked anything like him, he done died of a heart attack a long time ago. Hey, look at him. I don't know, but look at him. He might have pulled off, living 100 years old, being the way he looked, but I don't know. I'm just saying. So we have seen what they've done. We have seen Howard Lutnick lie. And as more documents are being found, because everybody ain't went through these 3 million files yet. Everybody's been pulling the cheat game. You've been typing up Lutnick's name and see where they're all at. And, typing up this and see where they're all at. Right? That's if all of them are actually accessible. His name may not be accessible on some of these documents. One of the things, and I'm honest about this. One of the things I've been doing is as I look through these files, I have PDF Pro, right? Adobe PDF Pro or some shit like that, right? I have an older version of it, but it has all the access to get rid of, the blackout stuff like that. But these documents are well redacted, meaning they've done the homework. The information is not only covered with these black marks. When you put it over there, the black mark over it, it literally deletes the information behind it. So you can copy and paste this entire page or whatever it may be, the PDF, place it in where the redacted area is. It may have a code, but it won't have the word. It may have open bracket WC asterisk, and that's it. And whatever words were there is gone. But I've been hoping that these inept fuckers fuck up. So I'm gonna keep going. That's a lot of damn pages to do it, but I'm gonna keep going. And each one that I see, I'm gonna try my damn to see if I can get anything out of it. Hopefully they'll release it, but I'm gonna try my best to do it. That's what I'll promise you on that. But it's been crazy, yo. I mean, just the idea of these people doing whatever they want. And as you start to learn more, like I said, these photos will make you crazy. Cause I'm a person, I don't know how, a lot of people just go off the surface. I'm a person who puts himself in a position. And when I do that, it hurts. It hurts to put yourself in a position of a vulnerability of being a child, and you're thinking about Barney. You know what I'm saying? I love you, you love me. And there are people like Jeffrey Epstein that are thinking of you as a grown human, even though they know you're a child, and doing things grown people make decisions to do, choices to do, with children who have no choice, have no idea what they're getting into. And I just wonder, I'm like, yo, where were the parents at? I'm not blaming. I don't know what happened. Were these kids abducted, or were these kids' families selling them? I mean, I'm sure it was a plethora of all of that. But you just look at that shit and you be like, what type of human, yo? Think about that for a minute. If you are a parent, uncle, niece, uncle or aunt rather, a person of some kind of authority, a cousin who has a really young child as another cousin, you see these kids, or you're a kid, you bring them home, you know what I'm saying, and you hug them and you love them, and you just love to see them grow. You mark how tall they are, and all the innocence, the happiness, the joy. They give you energy, and you know when they're sick, you're worried about it, and you're doing whatever you can to make them well. And there are literally people in this fucking country, in this world, that don't see that. They see an object to destroy, an object for their sexual pleasures, an object for their, anger to beat up, to harm in some way, shape, or form. And I just can't see how a human being decides that. I don't see it. I don't see how a human being could sell their kids into this. Albeit, I've seen it, not up close, but I told the story, maybe it was on my other show, that I lived in in the suburbs here in LA, and I used to run a lot. And in the neighborhood, I bought my house and all this everything. I used to run miles. But when I first started, it was like I would run around the block or whatever until I got to like 16 or 20, 24 miles doing the marathon. But in training, right behind my house, going around the block, right behind my house, a couple doors down, I could see this person's backyard from my second floor. See it. Old white dude. Running by, I'd see him on the porch. He'd just grunt, whatever it may be. Sorry, French fried taters. That's what it sounded like. Sorry, it's just not a funny story, but that's the way he did this shit. But I'd run by, and he was kind of grumpy, but he didn't say anything, negative to me and nothing like that. So one day I'm running by, and I see the police at his house. I'm thinking, dude may have died. He's old and all stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, okay, maybe he died. You know what I mean? And they're arresting him. And I was in the industry at the point in time, in entertainment, or at that point, the news industry here in LA. And I remember the reporter who worked for my station was at the park, the neighborhood park that was right near his house. He was not too far away from the school. Went and talked to him. I'm like, yo, what happened? Did my man die? I said, I see him all the time running. He said, you knew him? He was trying to get to interview me. I'm like, I didn't know him. I said, I knew of him. I ran by him a bunch of times. He said, yeah, he was caught with kids. I'm like, what with kids? He said, with kids. And I was like, are you fucking serious? Yeah, this man had a woman who would bring him random children. And when I say children, y'all, they were as young as fucking 2. I can't fathom that shit. I can't wrap my brain around that shit. I'm like, what in your brain thinks of a baby like that? And that's Jeffrey Epstein, like, to the fucking like infinity. Based upon these stories, he sold them. He did what he did. And Trump is also implemented in all this stuff. And I'm sitting here like, and not just them, I just don't know all the names. I'm just saying, what, I don't care how much money you get. This is a sickness that money doesn't get. Money allows you to get away with it. The sickness is in you. It boggles the mind. That's why I think that we can all agree that we can protect children, not sick people, but us who aren't sick, us that know we would protect our own, us that would protect our community and children in our community if we saw something happen. Those good people, we have to fight so that these sick people are cast where they fucking should be, away from our communities. Because this cannot be accepted. Even an allegation cannot be accepted. I know there's some false allegations out there, but I wouldn't think that would be in the high percentile. I'm just saying. If you got one allegation, I can possibly think that it could probably be a 50-50, like this wrong. They may have misconstrued, even though it may be 100% true. There's some doubts. But if you have 30 over here, and you have 4 allegations over there, you have lawsuits that determine it or depict it step by step what happened to you and shit like that happened to the child. You have emails talking about Brazilians and 9-year-olds and other things and 10-year-olds. And you can't tell me that is not a coincidence. That is not a, like, you want me for my money. It's too much. It's way too much. There can't be no truth in this. There has to be. And it's our choice whether we choose the kids or the pedophiles. I choose the kids. I search because I want to find and weed these people out. And just like you, I mean, I understand there's rules, there's safety, that people don't say anything. And again, I'm human. I ask these questions, and I know it's not necessarily right to ask the victims these questions, but I just be honest. I often say their fucking names, ladies. That's what I say in my heart. I'm like, say it. I know it's your life and the fear that must come with it because it hasn't happened to me. But in my heart of hearts, I'm like, say their fucking names. I will believe you. Just say it. And let's ostracize the fuck out of them. I don't need no more information other than the fact that these ladies tell me the names. I'm done with them. I'm done with them. My money's coming out of any bank they're dealing with. I'm not buying food if they own the store. I don't care. I'll start growing my food. I ain't got no problems with it. But I know it's their choice. I'm just saying, for me, you know how it is. I want to get straight to it. I don't want to have to wait 55 weeks, 17 years to figure it out, because I know they don't waited over 30 for some of them. But I'm like, I'm down with you. I'm down to ride with you. If you tell me, I don't need no more evidence. I'm ostracizing the fuck out of them. Period. I don't need no more evidence. You done waited 30 years. But I ain't asking you to do it. I'm just saying this is what I feel. Because I want their reckoning to come like right the fuck now. And I'm shocked at how they can I mean, I don't have that gene. I really don't. I don't have that gene because they had done it to me. I'm sniping this bitch if they had done it to me. But I don't have that gene that just kind of like, I want everybody else to see it. No, that man is seeing a graveyard if it was me. Ghislaine Maxwell would have never made it to the ripe old age of what she is right now had it happened to me. It just wouldn't happen. I ain't going to take my life. I'm taking hers and his and the others. But I understand it's not in everybody. Not everybody has that protection mode that's just probably, I don't know, overload. I got protection overload. It is what it is, man. It is what it is for me. And this is disaster. It really is. It's 100% disaster. And I think we can all agree on that. And I think that we can all fight for that. And we just have to figure out a way to do it collectively. I'm trying to start talking more about, and this is my second day. I've always talked about the survivors, but I want us to get on the point of all of us, at least on this topic, can agree, and therefore we can find information and agree upon the fact of don't do any work with these people if they don't buy nothing from them, don't do this, that, and the third. Especially, now I want to be, like, again, in this situation, I want to be fair to the people who in 2000, I mean, maybe, I don't know, but 2003, 2004, the emails from then, maybe they didn't know. But after the trial, 2006 it started, I guess, after that, you talking to this man 2007, 8, 9, you morally corrupt. You ain't got to be guilty of shit. You doing business with a man that's a pedophile with that fucks with kids. You putting more money into the pocket so a man can do more dirt. And you know the money you dealing with him, the money that you guys are making together, he's using it to fuck with kids. You knew that. That's morally corrupt. You must go. So Howard Lutnick must go. I don't care whether you can find him guilty of these particular crimes or whether he put his kids, his loved ones, in the vicinity of a man that rapes kids. No. And think about that. You telling me that entire 1 hour you was there, Lutnick never went to the bathroom? You tell me the entire time there, his kids weren't playing in another location or some shit? This man had cameras all over that island. You telling me that your kids didn't go to the bathroom while they was there? This man recorded your kids, Lutnick. You knew that he was recording everything. You said it. But you took your kids to the island of recording and raping children. And you want us to believe that your kids were not recorded. I'm just saying, yo, it just doesn't make any sense. Something don't feel right. I can't prove shit other than the fact that you're morally inept, morally corrupt. There is no way any of us, knowing what this man does, would have brought our kids around. Not our wives or loved ones. And by 2011, you say, 2012, I guess around that time, in his documents of him doing what he did, you knew he recorded them. So you knew your kids had a chance of being recorded by Jeffrey Epstein on that island. It's a 100% chance. Ain't no 10%, ain't no 30, maybe 50-50. No, 100% you knew that was happening. And you did it anyway. There ain't enough money in the world, bro. I would not deliver my kids to evil on a platter. So much so, after you guys left, your nanny, who probably used the bathroom, which he probably saw her naked, he all of a sudden sends an email saying, hey, I want to get with the nanny. I don't know nothing about that, says Howard Lutnick. Yeah, you're not culpable for putting your nanny in harm's fucking way. I'm pretty sure your nanny had no idea what type of person Jeffrey Epstein was, because that's not her world. But you knew. He has to go, yo. That's my point of view on that. He has to go. And before we leave today, I just want everybody to know that Donald Trump knew. I'm getting tired of people saying that he knew, he didn't know. Donald Trump, I'm gonna leave these shows with this shit if I have to, as long as I can. Donald Trump knew. In 2006, he reached out to the Palm Beach police chief and literally said everybody knew that the activities with teenage girls were all known in both New York and Palm Beach. Donald Trump told this man in Miami that he knew in 2006, July 2006, that Jeffrey Epstein were fucking with kids not only in New York, but in Palm Beach. How do you know both locations, bruh? Because he was your homie, your boy of more than 15 years that you dropped a dime on, not because you didn't like what he was doing to kids, so that you can throw the scent off yourself. Act like you were a person that was protecting kids when in these documents we found that people have had allegations of you selling kids, of you, Donald Trump, doing these things. Grabbing children by the vaginas and figuring out how much they worth. That's an allegation toward you. Where do these allegations? I don't see these allegations going toward, anybody else. I haven't heard it toward, he's long dead, but we're talking about years now. Bob Hope. I haven't heard this from, like an Eddie Murphy. I haven't heard this from Jerry Seinfeld. I haven't heard this from any, I ain't gonna say any other president, because they said there's an accusation of George Bush's father supposedly having relations with a black man. But a man though, do what he wants. But I don't hear these things. You don't have just one allegation, Donald Trump. You have multiple. I mean, not just multiple, in the dozens. You can't have dozens of allegations and not one of them be true, and you be 100% true in all of them. It just, life doesn't happen like that. It just doesn't. Everybody's just against Trump. I mean, do you know that there are so many rich people that haven't had this problem? We haven't heard of any allegations like this with other billionaires, even though they may be in on it. We just don't have the allegations that this one does. We got Epstein with a bunch. We got Donald Trump with a bunch. We don't have a bunch on the other billionaires at all. And Donald Trump wasn't even a billionaire, but let's just say rich people. So something's up there. So, where there's smoke, there's fire. And with them, there's more than a 5-alarm fire. There's more. You can't have this many. How many of us men grew up in the 90s and, back in our era, we did all kinds of stupid shit. But none of us have these allegations. What I mean by kind of stupid shit is back in the day, we used to dance and stuff like that, and teenagers and with teenagers, you were grabbing butts and shit like that and all that, wrong. But we were teens doing stupid shit with other teens. These dudes are grown, 40, 50-year-olds with kids and think it's okay. Just a thing to do. It's crazy. Thank you for that. Republicans only releasing their questions for Ghislaine Maxwell pleading the fifth to every question and not releasing Democrats asking about Trump speak volumes of who's running our country. Thanks again for the donation. Most definitely. I mean, these are the things that are happening. And I'm not sure, is that Five Alarm Fire? Because I was going to say Five Alarm Fire reached out and he's been under the weather a little bit. So keep your prayers up for Five Alarm Fire. We haven't seen him in a minute. We've been worried about him, thinking about him. But, you know, he's okay, I guess, but he's not feeling well. I'm not going into details or nothing. But just keep your prayers up for him. And also for Janet, you'll see her here for her loss as well. You can donate to her GoFundMe and help her in things that she's going through, and you can go to her GoFundMe and find out more about that. I think she was in here earlier talking about it. There, Rooted in Planet Janet. So yeah, more than happy to put your information in. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Today has been one of those days. We got to see a bunch of people lie to us, but we're going to keep on holding those people accountable to their lies. But at the same time, we need to find some kind of unity around a topic. And I think we can all unify around finding or releasing the Epstein file perpetrators and those who can be tried and sent to jail. We should be able to still do. Those who can't but still connected to this demon after they knew in 2006 and 2008 what he had done, those people should be ostracized. We shouldn't do business with them. We shouldn't buy stocks with them. I don't care what they own. We should ask that whatever company is dealing with them, either you kick him out or we drop your service. We got to stand for something or fall for everything. And at this point in time, I think we need to stand for what's right. Protect the children of the past, the children of the present. And by doing that, we'll protect the children of the future. That's where we have to do it. There's no both sides to that. There's no two sides to it. It's only one side, justice and protection. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you for all my moderators. I love y'all. Thank you for the donations. It helps to do this every day. I enjoy coming back every day and giving you the information that I find. We'll continue to do what we can. Today was a good day for survivors. We got some names. Hopefully some of these names are jarring some of their brains as they look up these images of these individuals through their names. Maybe they'll be attached to their story. I'm not sure, but I'm looking forward. I haven't seen it today, and I'm not forcing anybody. Again, I'm looking forward to survivors coming forward and recognizing some of these names and these images that match to these names. As we start to see, some of these names are insane. So they may not have gotten these people's real names. They may have been having, and I wouldn't doubt it, but they probably had fake names to begin with. So, a person could have said they were Fabio and really wasn't. They were actually Nicola Caputo or, whatever. And them being young, 8, 9, 10, 12, 15, they just remember this person's face as they were attacking them, not their real names. So I never really thought about it that way, but now I do. So they may not know the names, but once these names come out, I'm pretty sure they'll start putting the faces to these names. So let's keep them in our prayers. Let's keep doing what we do. Stay positive. Well, Mike, I'll do it at the end of the show. I'm going to do it right now. Because, right this second, we'll get it set up. I got to wet my whistle a little bit. I haven't done it in a while. All right. Love you guys. You guys have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. All right. As you know, we speak facts, straight facts, no chaser. Fuck your feelings.